It's a winter rarely seen in a lifetime.
It's looking like this year's statewide snowpack will probably most likely be either the first or second biggest snowpack on record dating back to 1950.
Now for some perspective. This was 1 year ago.
For our April 1 survey, recorded 2.5 inches of snow depth and only 1 inch of snow water content. This past January, February, and March have been actually the driest period on record in the Sierra Nevada, dating over 100 years.
If you don't like the weather in California, stay a while. But for some, this will be too much of a good thing.
The real challenge as we move into spring and summer, though, is flooding, significant flooding, particularly in the Tulare Lake Basin.
The ghost lake Tulare that was killed by farmers over a century ago will be haunting the Central Valley for at least a year or more. The Southern Sierra has rarely been recorded to have snowpack like this before, and it's already overwhelming flood controls long before the main melting. Tulare Lake is reforming in an area where despair was the only thing running deep as drought consumed the region.
Pretty much a lot because we all need water every day for every single thing, either to drink, cook, bathe, everything.
How many residents here don't have clean drinking water?
I want to say around more than 100.
More than 100?
I want to say.
Charitable organizations were installing water tanks for homes on the outskirts of the city of Fresno, as wells had dried up.
It's a struggle. It's a struggle. It's you have to figure out how you're going to flush your toilets and how you're going to brush your teeth with no water or take a shower. And some people are better at it than others, and some people just don't have any source for help or anything like that.
No one at the time could have imagined this being more than a mirage. But the reality is the water draining into Tulare Lake won't be going anywhere for a while. A layer of clay in the soil stops the water from draining quickly, so much of it will need to evaporate before any farming will begin again.
Yeah.
But people are resilient. Look at this group from Puebla, Mexico. They left the valley behind for Donner Summit.
So what they're doing now, they're having to make stairs into the snow. So anyone who lives here is going to be able to get to their house on the other side. They swear there's a house there. Well, they made the stairs and they're right. So look, to get all the way up here. And imagine. Wow. Obviously, I don't know how long it's been since this house has been shoveled out or cleared, but it'd be virtually impossible to get inside. They're telling me they're super busy. ¿Quitan toda la nieve allá?
Yeah, no, el techo.
Oh, el techo. Okay. So essentially what they're trying to do is they're going to try and get all the snow they can off the roof because, as you can imagine, the danger of this roof collapsing is pretty high. ¿Dónde está el techo?
Está guardado, mucha nieve.
Yeah. Es todo nieve. No hay techo, solo nieve.
Solo nieve. Que te hagan la entrevista, ¿no?
So it's like, where does the roof begin and the snow end? It does not look safe. It's crazy climbing up snow to get up on somebody's roof like this. So they tell me it's going to take about 2 hours, hour and a half, to clear all the snow off of this roof, at least enough. So the danger of the roof collapsing at least is minimized until the next storm.
They tell me they make around $25 an hour for this backbreaking work.
¿Cuántos techos quitan la nieve cada día?
Depende.
Depende.
Depende cómo esté. Si está blandito como acá, unos 6, 8. Pero si está muy duro,
Ya.
es donde más despacio.
Sí. ¿Este es el primer techo hoy?
Segundo.
Segundo.
Sí.
Okay. So they can do about 6 to 8 roofs a day. It depends on how heavy the snow is. If there's ice, it makes it slow down. This is the second roof they've done today.
If this looks otherworldly to you, imagine coming from subtropical Mexico, where the only snow you've seen before sits on top of a nearly 18,000-foot volcano.
Hasta luego. Buena suerte. Ten cuidado, amigos. Gracias. Mucho gusto.
Igualmente.
These guys are some of the most important workers that are up here in Donner Summit and around the Sierra, trying to keep the houses clear, the roofs clear, because when it starts to melt, there's going to be a lot of damage and a lot of danger to a lot of multi-million-dollar properties up here. It's going to slide down. Let's slide like it's a slide. Hey! Mucho gusto. Gracias. Ten cuidado.
Oh, sí, gracias.
Sí.
This neighborhood is known as Serene Lakes, but before the real estate marketer got a hold of it, Mark Twain nicknamed this area the Ice Lakes. It's where San Francisco got its ice before refrigeration. It's also the snowiest neighborhood I have seen this winter in the Sierra.
So show me like a reference point you guys made. You snowshoed up and put a sign, right? What's the story there?
Yeah, so we snowshoed up from the second story deck to clear the power and cable lines that are coming off the pole. And then the pine tree that's right there, that first big pine tree.
Yeah.
I went out and screwed a sign in 2019 to where the snow level was, because we hadn't seen it that high before, at least I hadn't.
Yeah.
And we're now back at that sign, so.
Again, here's some perspective. This is a photo of his family in 2019 from that tree, and again this winter. It's an astounding amount of snow by any measure.
I mean, I'm guessing, I know we're at least 20 feet, and it settles, you know? So this pile right here is probably over 20 feet of snow.
The big question is, how do you live up here? I mean, so many people are like, how is this possible?
You have a snowplow service and you have a really good snowblower. And then if you're up here quite a bit, you just shovel your decks, and it's a maintenance thing. You just stay on top of it. But, houses like this one right here is totally buried. Like their driveway is at the back of your car.
Yeah.
That one right there.
And
so those folks don't come around in the winter. But when we're up here every weekend and stuff, it's a maintenance thing.
Yeah. And so are you doing most of the work? You say you hired the blower service to get in and, the plows and stuff like that. But Are you doing a lot of work yourself?
Yeah. Yeah, we have a really good snowblower and shovel it. I got teenage kids, so that keeps them busy when we get up here. It's wood heat, so if the power goes out, we're fine. And these plows, when they come by, they'll put a berm like this high up in front of our driveway, like literally this high up, from like standing to you to me. And when it really dumps, like the big storms we had a couple weeks ago, when the graders came through, they were putting up like 6-foot snowbanks in front of our driveway.
And so then does your service clear those for you? And then with your blower, you're kind of doing around the cars, essentially? Clearing
Cars in the driveway.
Yeah,
because we usually have a couple cars in here. But, I usually don't let it get more than 3 or 4 feet in the driveway. Like, I can manage that. But anything above that, it's a pain.
It's just too much.
You can still do it.
Yeah.
And this berm, you can do it. It's like icy and heavy, and it takes a while. So the plow service is great.
Man versus nature has never really stood a chance. It's why we always bring machines into it. none larger than the Union Pacific's rotary snowplow. It can throw snow 300 feet, a fact that I didn't know when I climbed up to shoot it.
I just got absolutely rocked by the spray from that massive train that just came through. It was like being in a waterfall. It was like stepping underneath a waterfall, but it was snow. It was like you're on the losing end of the snowball fight in Elf. Like, it's getting pounded.
It's the railroad's last line of defense that's only used in the rarest of circumstances. It's been since 2018 the last time this massive machine was put to work. The size and speed is startling when you're next to it. I admit being in awe as I documented this rare ride. Historic is a term that can be overused, but this winter in California, they have the measurements to back it up.
More hiking.
I'm Jonathan Petramala. Thank you so much for watching. Please let me know in the comments what you thought. And if you like my stories, click on the subscribe and the alert bell so you'll be alerted when I upload my next video.